What? Willow, I really want to know, how do you deal with rep shavers? Those people who finish their workouts before everybody else and barely look like they broke a sweat. How do you deal with that nonsense? I deal very badly. Very badly indeed. And let me add this to your question. Not only do I hate rep shavers, but I also hate those people who transform the exercise in order to do them better. For example, you say something like you need to touch your knee on the floor when you do the lunges, and they do stuff like boom, 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 so that they can get the bounce and do a lot more reps. Another one, as you know, I'm not a huge fan of the kipping, but they do kipping dips, for example, like 1 and 2. And sometimes you can't stay straight and you start going to the sides. And some people seize that momentum to the sides to go to the left and to the right, to the left, to the right. So they end up doing something like, I'm not even sure I can do this, like left and right and left and right. See, this little momentum, when they manage to do it, it actually helps them get a lot more repetitions, and it's so stupid. You know, it's like, do the f***ing movement. Last but not least, oh, I hate this one. We say front rack with a kettlebell, which should be something like a Shaolin monk, and they do it like this. So I say one arm kettlebell thrusters, and they go from here to here. What the hell is this? This is nothing. You're not even working your shoulder. Go from here, okay? Steady position, core tight, go all the way down, and then boom, up there. Do the f***ing movements in a correct fashion, please. So how do I deal with it? Folk, let your body. I really don't. Every once in a while I do, but let's not ruin the whole class just because one bad apple is doing that. So you should always mind the beginners and mind the people who really need your help and who are willing to learn and really exercise in a proper way. But every once in a while, if I have a smaller class or if I have people who are already with good technique, good consistency in their technique, I go to that person and I count each one of its reps, of his or her reps. So it's like 1, 2, no rep, no rep, 3, 4, and they are so nervous that they have to do everything because I'm counting it aloud that they actually do the workout for the first time in their life. And they finish up like all dead and sweaty and crying, and I'm like, okay, today you had a workout. But I really only do this once in a while because I really don't want to mess with the whole dynamics of the class. So screw that guy or girl. Good evening, Willow. Could you give me a hint? On your last video about the 3 best exercises for the abs. Oh yeah, the one where I was kidnapped. I remember that. You gotta watch it. It was very, very fun. Anyways, I saw it and I would love to implement them in my workouts. I just don't know when or how many reps or sets. Thank you very much. Okay, let's not overanalyze. Ab workouts, especially those exercises that I showed you, from 10 to 20 reps, they work very well. For example, if you're doing the ab wheel, maybe you can do only 6 to 8 reps, but that's an exception because most of the exercises, if you're not doing very highly skilled calisthenic-based exercises like toes to bar very slowly, you're gonna do from 10 to 20 reps and you're always gonna get some benefits. So from 10 to 12, 15 to 20, always try to vary, and I would say 3 to 4 sets of each exercise with those reps. Now, you can add them at the beginning of the workout, which is a very good technique that I use, which is some sort of activation when I'm warming up, per se. And let's say I do a back squat, and I really want my core to be very tight before I even go to the barbell. I do the warm-up using a lot of ab exercises, like 3 or 4, and I do about 2 sets of each one in accordance or in a circuit with a lot of other movements in order to get those abs very tight for what's coming next when I gotta put a barbell on my back and I really want my core to be tight to support that weight. So that kind of gets the activation and the ab workout out of the way for sure. Another way you can use it is through supersets or through fillers. So let's say you do a main movement like the deadlift, and while you're resting, you're going to do, for example, a plank or some other exercise for your abs. So you're doing it in a superset fashion and you're getting rid of the ab workout as well. So you do first main movement with a filler of ab exercise, and then the second one, and your ab workout for the day is done. Then you can focus on something else. That is a great strategy. Why? Because the third way you can implement the ab exercises in your workouts is in the end. And in the end, let's face it, you're already tired, you've already done the main movements, you wasted a lot of energy, a lot of effort. So you're looking at the floor and going, should I do crunches or should I go home? And sometimes, or a lot of the times, you go home. So do it in the beginning or in the middle. Willow, you're probably not gonna read this. Ha! Dreams do come true, my friend. I've been practicing athletics for 5 or 6 years, and now my times are among the best in my team. However, my motivation is shot. For a month and a half now that I don't have the will to go to the practice sessions. What can I do to rebuild my motivation? Please help me.
Nobody asks me that question.
First of all, what you must realize is that you're not a machine. I think this probably happens to everybody who's in high performance sports. It's just a very small fraction. What you do in the field or in the track, at the track, is a very small fraction of what it is to be an athlete. You have to deal with a lot of pressure coming from every side, like the coach, like the schedules you need to keep, like the victories and defeats and losses, like the parents, like the school. It's a lot of stuff at once. So you're not a machine. Think about that. And if you really like athletics, and if you've been working really hard at this specific sport, maybe you've had what's called like an overdose of sport. It's like overtraining. I remember when I was like 14 or 15, a friend of mine, he never had scotch before, whiskey. And he tried whiskey, but he tried it so hard with a lot of shots that he actually, I hope you don't relate to this, but he actually developed this sort of, it was like he had an overdose that night and he barfed the hell out of everything, everywhere we were. And now, about 20 years later, he can't bear to even look at scotch. It's like, it makes me puke. Because you went overboard with that scotch. So what you need, my friend, or what I believe that you need, is some sort of deload. Let's say I do a strength program. I want to get stronger. Every program in the book has a deload phase, because no progress is linear forever. No progress is linear forever. And if you need a deload when it comes to physical activity, and by deload we mean something like grabbing much lighter weights and doing maybe more repetitions, or not even going to the gym and going for swimming or doing something else, something that keeps your heart rate going but not really focusing too much on the strength portion. That works on the physical side. You need that on the physical side, but now you're going to need that on the psychological side as well. And that's where personal development kicks in. Personal development is about grabbing more tools. So you have the tool of athletics, you're probably in school at the same time, but school doesn't really offer a good deload because it's got a lot of pressure involved as well. So if you do something else, I don't know, like learn a song, go have dance lessons, I don't know, some sort of hobby outside of that, something that you can build while you're building the athletics. Does that make sense? So you're building the athletics, which is your focus, your core, but you need to build something else. You need to build some other hobbies, passions, interests, like reading, like music, like going to the movies, a girlfriend. Yes, a relationship is something that you keep building on. And I don't mean girlfriends. I mean a girlfriend, a serious relationship with someone that you can really invest on every once in a while, or every day in this case. At first it might sound a little silly, but these ways of decompressing your mind and even your emotions will get you even stronger to when you come back to the track. So let's never forget, you should deload the physique and the mind as well. I got a great book for you to read, which is called The Open. It's the autobiography of Andre Agassi. I don't know if you know who that is because you're too young, but he was one of the best tennis players of all time. I know you're probably not into tennis. I'm not either. However, this was one of the best books I've ever read. Why? Because he went through all the things that you're starting to go through. The pain, the torture, the humiliation of the losses. It's really not easy, and once again, I'm gonna say the proportion of what you do on the track to everything else you do in order to become an athlete, it's very small. Don't forget that you're not a machine. You need to keep rebuilding. And then when you come back, the linear progression will happen again, I believe. Thank you very much for your questions. Keep sending them through Instagram or YouTube. Follow, like, subscribe, and go to prozis.com for all your supplement needs. Use Willow coupon and get a great discount. Later.